Hi, I'm Marlene. Come on into my studio. This is part of my home, but it's really handy. I've had studios where I've had to be out in the garage, but this is just beyond my kitchen, so I really like it. Other than this one, all of these are what we call waxed watercolors, so they're presented in a little different way. What is unique about these paintings is that I separate the colors. I kind of like details. I'm one of those detail people that like to focus on the patterns in work, and that's what this is about. They all have little bubbles in, which is gratitude and thankfulness. A few years back, before I started the Ascending series, we went through some really challenging times. And so when the time came when I started the series, I was just grateful. So I decided I needed to put those little bubbles in to remind me to always be grateful. And so that's coming from a faith-based perspective, that's important to me. A lot of these are landscape because I love the outdoors. I love trees and rocks and water and stuff like that. And except for this one over here, which is my cat. I've done different types of watercolor. I've done, like this is watercolor on canvas, and I have to treat the canvas so the watercolor will stay on it. And I also do little cards. These are cards, but they're actual original paintings, and they're numbered and part of the and signed. So they're actual mini paintings. If you want to see it close up, you can see the little separations of color, the little bubbles. I'm inspired by outdoors. I'm inspired by details. I like to look at flower petals and see how they're all perfectly made. I like to look at leaves and see how they're designed, and then pick another leaf and lo and behold, it looks the same. I'm in awe of that small detail stuff. And I think a lot of times the small details are forgotten in the big picture. And so I like the big picture, but I like the small details where you stop and you can really appreciate how things are put together. My problem with doing oils or other kinds of paintings is I couldn't draw on top of the paint. And this allows me to do this, but what's interesting about it is it came at a time when our lives were really chaotic. And somehow sitting down and finding all these colors, because it's a very loosely painted picture. I'm really not a watercolor painter. I use colors, that's all. And then go in and start drawing over. And I sometimes wonder if that gave me order in my life. So this is, I was kind of imagining this scene, and there's actually a Bible verse in Isaiah where trees clap their hands and the mountains and the hills burst into song, and it's quite a, if you imagine and visualize what that would be, it would be kind of like this, because those little bubbles coming up is actually praise or gratitude, however you might want to call it. And so I guess I'm under the impression that if we're not grateful, the trees and the plants and the hills are grateful. I've always felt my mission or my role in art is to promote peace and joy. I want to focus on good things because there's so many bad things. There's a lot of good things, but sometimes the bad just outweighs all the good. And I really want to focus on good things because there are so many, but it's hard to see sometimes. So I've had people stand in front of my art and comment on how peaceful it made them feel or how it lifted their spirits. And that's exactly what I want to come from this.